All right, another episode of Conversate After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything's great with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people they can find us.
You can find us at conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, you can reach us at cvadthepodcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com, and you can check out our past episodes. So, Tay, let's do an icebreaker.
Okay, this is a fill in the blank. When my significant other blanks, I feel loved.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna answer the question, but this actually highlights like a problem that I have in terms letting people actually be nice to me and love on me. Like I'm always the person that's doing for others. So then when people try to do for me, like I'm always kind of like, nah, don't do that, don't go out your way. And I realize it's a problem. So this is actually harder to answer than it should be. But I am going to say, when like they try to touch on me, rub on me, use physical touch as an expression of love, that makes me feel loved by a person because most of the time people just ain't rubbing on you and not like in a sexual way, say, just like, rubbing on your back, rubbing your head if you're a man like me, bald head or whatever. That right there lets you know that she's actually feeling you. Because from my experience, when a woman is not really feeling you, she ain't trying to go out of her way to touch you or be touched by you. And so, and you could tell, because like you could try, especially like, and it may not even be that she's not feeling you, but like try touching a woman or trying to snuggle up against a woman who's mad. She gonna lock her body up, you know what I'm saying? Like she's about to get took for hostage or something, and you just like, damn. But when she's feeling you, especially if you're on the bed, you grab her, pull her, she gonna snuggle right up underneath you. So it's definitely physical touch. And not just in the bedroom, like outside of the bedroom. That's what make me feel love.
Okay.
What about you?
So for me, I feel loved when I feel like my significant other actually listens to me when I talk. And remembers what I say. That's important.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. Because I don't know if it's because I'm quiet. I feel like when I say something, people need to listen. But it don't always work out like that. Most of the time I feel like when I talk, most people don't listen, don't care about what I have to say, stuff like that. So the times when I've had a significant other and they actually took the time to listen to me when I talk, and then the stereotype, and I know stereotypes are not general across the board. But the stereotype is a lot of men don't like to listen to their women talk because women talk a lot. I get that. But so when a guy actually takes the time to listen to what I have to say and remembers what I say, that's the key thing for me is remembering what I say.
So, I used to have an excellent memory. Like I can remember all kind of details and everything. And
Hmm.
now I feel like I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or because I have so much going on in my life most of the times that I'm forgetting conversations that I've had with people. So I've asked them, a question like, "Hey, what's up with this?" They'd be like, "We talked about that." And
Yeah.
it's scary to me because in my family, on my mom's side, there's a strong history of dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff. And I know that sometimes, like when I get tired, my memory is a little bit worse. Like I'll forget like a name for something or whatever. And most of the time, I'm just tired. But um, I do pay attention to what my lady says, but sometimes I just forget what she said. You know what I'm saying? I just forget. And I think the bigger piece, because you're right, guys do kind of say they girls talk too much. I think one of the things is like women talk about things that most guys don't really feel as important or as important, or not as a big deal. And I remember a relationship I had back in the day, and I was young and a jerk, and this girl I was dating, and she was telling me about what was going on today, and I was like, "What the hell you be talking about?" And she was just like, "Well, she kind of, I could now after I said it, I realized I hurt her feelings, but I think it's just a lot of the things that women talk about, some guys just don't feel are important, and that's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Even if it's, something kind of trivial, or maybe they're overreacting or being emotional or being dramatic or whatever. Common courtesy is to pay attention to what your lady has to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember my I knew I'm not big on Valentine's Day. Like I could take it or leave it.
I ain't
But
big on no The only organized holiday I fuck with is Thanksgiving because we eating and we fellowshipping as family. But all this pressure to buy Christmas gifts and Valentine Day flowers, all that old bullshit, I can't stand it.
I get it, I get it. But my point in saying that is so my the best Valentine's Day gift I ever received wasn't even really about the gift. It was that my ex and I were walking in the mall one day, and I just happened to say, "Oh, there's a store that does this. I've always wanted to do that." Didn't think nothing about it. It was just something that passed, and I actually forgot that I told him. Fast forward to Valentine's Day. That was my Valentine's Day gift. So, that type of stuff turns me on. Whereas a couple years ago,
You went straight to turns me on, not, makes me feel happy or loved. You
no, no,
said
no. I mean, no, for me, when it comes to a significant other, all of that's kind of tied in together. Like the turning me on, feeling loved, all of that's tied in together for me when it comes to a significant other.
Okay.
So, and on the flip side, a couple years ago, me and this guy were kind of flirting around. Now we've been friends for years. We flirted around kind of when we first met, but it didn't, timing, things just didn't work out. So
Okay.
fast forward a couple years ago, we're flirting around again. So he's always quizzing me about his likes, and I'm able to rattle them off like this. I know his favorite artist. I know his favorite song. I know this. I know that. I know this. I know that. I know his
We don't,
daughter.
we, hey, we don't date, but who's my favorite artist?
Oh, I know Mary J. Blige.
That was too easy.
But see, that's my point. To know you is to know that.
Yes.
So when I would ask him, okay, so what's my favorite of that same thing, he would never know. And I'm like, first of all, we've known each other for years. And I feel like everybody who knows me knows certain things about me. Then you're trying to get you're telling me you want this to work out in a relationship, and you can't name those things about me. It just I don't know. It tells me a lot.
I think your favorite artist is Chuck Brown.
No,
Who is it?
Stevie Wonder.
Really?
I've said that many times in the group, but I don't expect other people to kind of know these things about me.
I
But
was just trying to see
people,
if I could say it. 'Cause I was trying to remember like our conversations and stuff. Um, and you know what's crazy? And I know you gonna give me the side eye. There was a post put out on social media today with like the top 50 R&B songs, and Stevie Wonder's "Ass" was put on there, right? So I
yeah,
looked at the list. It's a solid list. It's a solid list of songs. I had to make sure Mary J was on there, and they put "Don't Cry," and I
okay,
was like, "Don't Cry" is a good song, but that's not even one of her like best songs. That was like the most popular song, right? Because of the theme behind it. Um, but I was in the gym the other day, and it's a good mix of 40, 50-year olds, and then you got late 20s, 30-year olds. So, and it's a black owned gym, so we listen to music. So one day we was like, man, we're gonna listen to R&B today while we're working out. And the trainer and one of the dudes that's like close to my age was like, hey, who's the king of R&B? Now, a lot of people was like, we talked about today, they were talking about Stevie is the king of R&B, right? And
hmm
I looked and I was like, I can't say it. And they was like, yes, you can. And I said, Robert. So this is a tangent question. is the type of R&B music that Robert made and the type of R&B music Stevie made, can it be considered the same?
Um,
Because I
you
don't
talk,
really classify them in the same way. And I don't know how to say other than like Robert is like the king of like 90s R&B music. And since
mhm.
that's our era, that's why he's the top. You really can't, I think it's like an apples and oranges comparison to compare Robert or anybody from our generation to Stevie and Luther and those type of guys.
Yeah. I would say Luther is a closer to R. Kelly than Stevie because only I say that because Stevie came up in a totally different generation. Like
Yeah,
his R&B was completely different from what
right.
we listen to now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
His was somewhat avant-garde too, because like he was Motown, but Motown was still what I consider kind of like bubblegum love music.
Hmm.
Stevie was more of the musicality and deeper lyrics um than the artists around his time. So I think that's why he stood out so much. But anyway, this is a
Yeah.
tangent. So okay. So all of that plays into like the interest that your partner shows in you, right?
Hmm.
So it made me think about a conversation I was having. And you get into a relationship, time goes by. As we get older, we change in personalities, we change in opinions, but we also change in how we look. Some of us get older, some of us gain weight. Sometimes sickness plays a part in how a person's look changes. Have you ever been in a relationship where your partner's look, whether they've let themselves go or life just happened, changed how you feel about them?
No. Um, no, I can't say it not definitely not looks. No.
Not look.
I haven't experienced that. Um, I don't know if I've been with somebody long enough
Like,
to
what's your
witness
longest relationship? Maybe that's what I was gonna ask. What's your longest relationship?
uh longest relationship. It's hard to say because we kind of don't really know when our relationship started, which
Oh
is kind of
Lord.
weird. Because we started off as friends with benefits and then it kind of morphed into an actual relationship.
That
But
actually
I
works. That actually
say that
works.
again.
That
Yeah.
actually works.
Hmm.
Okay.
It worked with he and I because of the. I mean, I won't say that works for everybody, but I think it works for people who want it or different things in life where you are, you know, stuff like that.
Normally with the friends with benefits, the sex is good, right? You agree?
Hmm. It should be.
If you're gonna be a friend with benefit, right?
Right, right.
Did the sex become better after y'all decided, we're gonna be exclusive, or did it stay the same, or did it get worse?
It was the same. Well, this is why I
So I'm
always
assuming you're
say,
gonna do it more often when you're in a relationship, and when you do it more
yeah.
often, the kind of newness, the exclusivity, or whatever. I'm not even using the right terminology, but the the damn, what kind of word? What's the word I'm looking for, Tay?
The newness wears off. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, the newness, but that's not really what I'm trying to say. When you
Okay.
do it more often, then it becomes more routine. That's what I should say.
Oh, mundane.
So it loses some of its shine.
Yeah, yeah. No, the sex was always good. My I keep saying my issue is when y'all don't have to wear condoms anymore. The sex gets shorter and shorter. The length of time. I'm just
Ladies,
saying.
ladies, ladies, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a humble brag.
No, 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 no.
Tay's talking about with me, it's going to end quick,
No, no.
okay.
No, because I don't always believe that's necessarily true. But I just think that's
With the right one, it is. Yeah.
okay, maybe. But I don't look at it as a humble brag. But I still feel like the condoms make it make it better because it lasts longer. But all women don't need it to last longer. Again, I'm just greedy.
That's like somebody saying like a penitentiary visit behind the glass is better than being able to touch your family that's locked up. It don't make no sense. But go ahead.
Whatever. So he was my longest. Uh, if especially if I include the friends with benefits years, he was the longest situation. So he was the person that I saw change the most, but he didn't change enough for me not to find him attractive.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gained a little weight, but it wasn't enough to, to make a difference.
I've been on the receiving end of that conversation. Um, and it definitely hurts your feelings, but I can be honest and say that it was necessary. It was necessary. I've always been a big dude. So when somebody gets with me, you kind of know what you're getting, right? But
Hmm.
you can go from being a big dude who's handling himself like dressed well and, carrying himself well to like somebody who's out of control. And with depression and grief, I can admit I got to a point where I was out of control. And, it does take its toll. I mean, I've been with chicks and now I can be a little picky at times, right?
Hmm.
They knows this. I've been with chicks and they changed their hairstyle. And I was like, oh, I ain't really, and that's not cool. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
say that that's not cool at all, right? But it's just me. If I get with you and you got like a certain swag or whatever, I kind of need you to rock with that swag.
Okay. I have a friend who that happened to. She was trying to go from relaxed to natural, and so she cut her hair off, and the guy she was dealing with at the time couldn't handle it. So
She did the big chop.
yeah,
She ain't even talked to him about it.
I don't know. And
Okay,
that was so long ago. I don't. She may have told me, and I just don't remember. But I don't know.
so I can remember my ex-wife doing the big chop, but she didn't go natural. She just went like Halle Berry 90s bob. And I acted a complete ass. I used to be an asshole back in the day. And I look back on it, and her hair looked nice. It really did. It really nice. It looked good on her too. I can
Okay.
admit that. I can admit I was wrong, and I can admit I was an asshole. Um, what I've learned as I get older is that, whatever makes the woman comfortable in her skin, that's what you need to rock with. But if you get with somebody and you got a head full of hair, and the next day you show up with a TWA, that ain't, I don't think that's cool per se.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think that's cool. Now, quiet note. Chicks who got like the short Jeanne hairstyle or whatever, typically, there's two things about chicks that rock them short hairstyles. Typically, they got a fat ass and they can go.
What do you mean they can go? Is that a sexual thing? What you
In,
mean?
in the bedroom, they get down. Because you got to have some confidence in you to be able to do that, in my personal
Yeah,
opinion, as a
yeah,
woman. Because
yeah.
a lot of women hold their hair as what, their beauty or what have you, right? Some women don't give a damn. They be like, it's just hair. I'll cut it off, color it, do whatever, right? But some women, it's like very, very important to them. And just doing a wholesale switch, especially since a lot of guys aren't that sophisticated. I'll generalize it that way. A lot of dudes ain't that sophisticated. And when it comes to like how a woman feels about herself and what makes
Hmm.
her feel good and how that benefits you, that's a big ass risk is to cut your hair off and just show up like, ah.
I've done it before too, and I can say the guy that I was with at the time, he loved it.
But did you go so but like you go from looking like Lola Falana to a prison stud, that's a big switch, dog.
First of all, I don't think I could ever look like a prison stud, even if I tried. But I mean, I did. I went to.
You should try that though. You should try it. You,
I don't
you
want my hair that short. I mean, my hair that was the second time I cut my hair short, and it was pretty short. But yeah, yeah, but the guy I was with at the time, he loved it. So I don't know.
What about personality wise? Because to me, that's the bigger thing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, when it comes to like size, body type, fate when you age or whatever, like you really got to be real with yourself because as they're aging, you're aging too.
Hmm.
So you up here trying to be like, oh, well, she don't look like she used to. I remember my uncle said that he married they ain't gonna listen to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. But he married a white lady and he had the nerve to tell my mom, like, man, I shouldn't marry this old white lady. She's starting to look old. My mom was like, no, you are not about to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not right. Your ass in game weight. My mama ready him to riot act
Yeah.
about that. But I will say, as you grow as people, personalities change, things that matter to you change. And
Hmm.
when people say they grow apart, that's like the main thing. Like I know in my past relationships, um, I may have changed as a person and they stayed what they were, who they were when we first got together. And those two versions of ourselves weren't compatible.
Hmm.
And then there were times where, okay, they would evolve and then we'd be back in sync. And then they would evolve some more and I was still stuck here. And then it ended up being like, okay, we're not compatible again. And
Hmm.
I can see how that happens and I can see how people grow apart. I think the hardest thing is people try to hold on to the relationship and they don't know how to communicate and be able to really express like why are you getting on my fucking nerves right now? Like
Yeah.
why are you react why does everything I do just cause you to flip the fuck out? And then either you are gonna power through it and then eventually y'all get back cool again, or y'all just be like, hey, this ain't working, I gotta go.
Yeah. In my younger days, I probably wouldn't have been able to to last. But if I was married, I think when you put marriage into the equation, I think people try a little harder to make things work. I think with the married people I talk to, a lot of them try harder to make things work once that paper is signed. Um,
The thing about it though is because I've been married, you haven't. I ain't trying to throw that in your face. I'm just gonna say this. Um, yes, hopefully they try harder, right? Because you want to save your marriage. But I think the thing that people who have not been married don't know, and there's no way you can know it. Even if you live with a person for years, there's something about saying I do that adds like an additional level of pressure to the equation that makes it so much more complex. And it's like you don't really understand until you actually do it. And I'm always really careful because I've been kind of a jerk about it in the past. Like when the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock situation happened, I used to tell dudes like, "You ain't never had a fucking wife, so how can you tell me that Will Smith is wrong when you never had a wife to fucking defend, right?" But I just think there's something about saying I do and putting on them rings, Tay, that just makes it much more harder. It's like when you play the old school video games and you can put like low, hard, expert. It goes from
mhm.
low to expert level over in fucking night.
Right? Which goes back to my point that I think people, because of that, it makes people try harder. Because when you're not married,
I feel you. Or sometimes they
you could
crack
just
under
walk
pressure.
away.
Or sometimes they crack under the pressure. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
Okay.
disagreeing with
I
you.
can see
But
that.
sometimes like it's just too much. And like
Right.
some people, like I knew a dude during the holidays, him and it was like the financial pressure, constraints for the holidays, he would just like leave. He would leave and like they lived in Texas, he would leave and go home to Colorado because he was like, it's just too much. I can't handle it. And
Yeah.
that ain't how you're supposed to be handling, disagreements or problems, right? That's the
True.
point I was trying to make. Not that people don't try hard, but some people can't fucking handle it.
I get that, but like I said, I've heard this from married people, so I can't just take your word for it. Like
Oh, I
I
mean,
listen,
yeah.
I listen to everybody, so you know, that's why I said that. Um, what was I getting? I was going somewhere when I said that, and you took me to a tangent, so I don't know what I was gonna say. Um,
Now
Yeah,
you go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. You took me to a tangent, and now whatever point I was going with that is gone. So,
No, we was talking about married
oh,
people.
personalities changing. I've I've kind of been there in two situations where I changed in one and the other person changed in the other. But I think in the where the other person changed, I think I just got past the representative. If I'm hindsight being 2020,
Oh
I
yeah.
think
Oh
I
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but with me changing, actually my ex didn't want to leave. He still wanted to carry on with, the plans that he had in his head. But
Okay. Somebody about to ask conversation because he finally got past the condom stage. He didn't want to let that go.
I mean, actually, that's probably true. But no,
Mhm.
but I think it was more than that. I mean, that was my college sweetheart. So, he had plans of us, making a
Yeah.
future together. So he didn't
Yeah.
want to let it go.
And sometimes you kind of see somebody's character like develop
Hmm.
or not develop. You see their character revealed. And I I just don't think there's any way that you can truly, truly know, no matter how much therapy, premarital counseling that you go through until like you actually go through the fire. Like when I
Hmm.
talked about like the pressure, low to expert level and all that type of stuff. Like there's no way to predict how a person can handle adversity, whether it's adversity they're going through or adversity that you're going through, how they're going to support you or what have you, or like just like if they're honorable or not. Sometimes you kind of see, especially if somebody's raised off survival,
Hmm.
you'll see like this scenario. I knew a guy whose wife incurred like $15,000 worth of debt and she
Okay.
hid it from him. And he found out, and it was a major problem for them because they, thought they had a relationship where it was open communication, especially about finances. They had a plan and a goal and a vision of where they're going to go in life, right? And here she is hiding this debt. So if that would happen to you, how would you handle it?
Ooh, you know how I feel about lying. So,
But is it technically lying if you just don't talk about it, you just hide it?
yes, lying by omission. That's a thing.
Okay. I know. I just want you to say it.
Especially if we're in a relationship, and even more so if we're married, I would definitely have a problem with that. And $15,000 is not. I mean, unless we're millionaires, billionaires, $15,000 is a lot of money. So to just get in debt for that while we're together and not say anything, I don't know. I mean, I always feel like I can work with anything as long as I know what's going on. But if you don't let me know what's going on, I don't know if I can work with you.
Okay, I want to drill down on one thing. You're right about that. Let's talk about the liable mission thing. I always thought a liable mission is if I leave out certain details. Like I tell you half truths. That is more so a liable mission versus me just not telling you anything. Me not telling you anything is more so like being sneaky. But a liable mission is if I say, hey, I'm going out with Jeff to the sports bar to watch the game. And you're like, all right, you're gonna be with Jeff at the bar watching the game. But it's also me, Jeff, and a couple of women that's with us as well. To me, that's more so a liable mission.
Did the thing happen when we're together and the person didn't say anything? That's omission. You lied by omission. It's the same thing to me. It's
It's
not just
it's
about a
it's foul.
half truth.
Yeah, it's foul. It's foul. And
Yeah.
I just bring that because I hate half truths. If you a half truth teller, I fucking hate that because lying is manipulation this period, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like when you tell like a half truth, you are like really, really trying to manipulate how you want me to move, how you want me to feel. And that just infuriates me
Yeah.
in a major way. So let me ask you this. Would you rather find out that they've been hiding $15,000 worth of debt for 2 years, or you found out they cheated last night when they was out with Jeff and them chicks at the bar? What's gonna make you more mad?
Um, the money would hurt more.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
saying that because of how we get down, or
Um,
that's like how you really, really feel?
that could be that's partly it. The other part is, and this could go actually this the part why the 2 years 15,000 makes me mad. It could go if the affair lasted, same thing. You're holding on to this lie for years. My mind automatically goes to what else aren't you telling me? What else are you lying about? If you can hold on to something for that long, what else are you lying about? I Lying for me brings on can I trust you about anything? So I mean, so the $15,000 for the 2 years, that that would piss me off. I might be hurt by the cheating yesterday, but the $15,000, I would be hurt and I would be pissed. And you messing with my money. One thing, one thing they say about us Capricorns, we don't play about our money. That $15,000 is messing with my money if we're married.
Okay, so I don't know everything about Capricorns, but I do know a lot about black women. And I feel like if you mess with any black woman's money, it's gonna piss her off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's gonna piss her off. She gonna want to get violent when
yeah.
you messing with her money.
Yes.
Um, I think both would be upsetting to me, but I think that you cheating. Now, the money would make me more mad. Just because I, I've said it on the show before. I done cheated a lot in my life. I don't cheat anymore, but I done cheated a lot in my life. So I kind of feel like if somebody like cheats on me, like, and I might have had that coming. Right? I might have had that one coming. So I'm gonna be mad. We're gonna have an argument about it. My feelings gonna be hurt, but maybe week, 2 weeks, we might be back to where we was at. I'm still gonna be kind of looking at you a little differently, a little sideways or what have you. But I have to say that because of the mistakes I've made in my life, I'll probably be more inclined to forgive because I got a lot of forgiveness and grace for being a cheating ass dude. The money, especially if we're like working towards a goal together and
Hmm.
we're married, because when we're married, that's our day. Now we just living together, that's on you.
Yeah, yeah,
But if we're married, that's not just $15,000 you took on. That's $15,000 we took on. So I definitely want to know, like, why did you feel like you needed to hide this? Because like if we in a relationship together, obviously you should be able to be like, hey, like I'm short on this, or my mom needs help with so and so and so and so, my brother needs help with this, and we have a discussion and we figure it out. Instead of just blindsiding me with, okay, now we in the hole, $15,000.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially married.
But sometimes somebody can have a good excuse. Sometimes somebody can have a good excuse for the money. It's never a good excuse to cheat.
They may have a good excuse for getting into debt, but hiding it for 2 years, I don't know what excuse that could bring, except for like thinking you're gonna get in trouble. I mean, but I'm not your mother, so you can't get in trouble. I mean, we might have an argument about it, but and
Um,
then that's enough. That's another thing. If the person I'm married to goes into debt for some reason, another reason to tell me is so that we we can come up with something to maybe fix it or work it out or something. Two heads are better than one. All that, teamwork makes the dream work. All that stuff.
Mhm.
You maybe the 2 years lasted because he didn't know what to do. Well, if you had told me, maybe we could have figured out something together.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely I feel like open communication is key, especially when it comes to money, because money is what usually drives a lot of people apart.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel like that's something that we talked about premarital counseling and stuff like that. That's something that if you do premarital counseling, that's something that you really got to really hone in on because that can create a lot of issues. What if he or she's got a gambling problem? What if
Hmm.
he or she's got a shopping problem? What if they're a hoarder? I know people that they just shop and shop and shop, and you go into their shit, and it's just like shit everywhere. And you're
Yeah.
just like, dude, like, don't buy nothing else. like you don't have room for anything else. Like, stop it.
I've been
And
through premarital counseling before.
huh?
I said I've been through premarital counseling before.
Did it cover finances?
We covered everything.
Really? You got through the whole curriculum,
Got through the whole curriculum.
then you ran away.
No, uh,
You ain't gotta talk about it if you don't
no, I
want
can say it. I just feel like because of the type of podcast we do, what I'm going to say may feel like it's a contradiction to that. But at that time, it's a slightly different Shantae.
to. Okay.
I felt like God was was talking to me at the time and was telling me maybe this wasn't the right move.
And God loves the freaks too. We talk about
No, no,
that.
no, no, no. It had nothing to do with sex.
No, I'm just saying we got a relationship sex
Oh
podcast.
yeah, 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 yeah,
He, he,
yeah.
he messed with us too.
Yeah. So okay, this is what happened. So, as a matter of fact, it happened on the final day of our marriage counseling class. Um, the person told us, yeah, I mean, y'all look like, we've been through all the topics. Y'all look like y'all ready. All I need is a date. And as soon as they said that, I felt I had this weird feeling that I had never felt before. So I've always been commitment phobic. So that night I went home and I prayed and I said, if God, if this is something that's in me, because of my commitment phobia, help me, work on me. But if this is you telling me I need to open my eyes to something, let me know. And I have to say, after that, I don't know if I was being blind before. I don't know if he got sloppy. I think he got sloppy, but stuff just started appearing. And yeah. So yeah.
No, you know what? God works in that way when you listen.
When you listen, because I've
And
had that feeling since then, and I didn't listen the second time, which is dumb because I should have known from the first time.
because it's something, some people call it intuition, but when I look back at it, I always say it's God talking to me
Hmm.
because it'll come to me like, ask this question, right? And then you ask a question and then like you see the response and you be like, oh, okay, that don't really sound right. That don't sound right. Or so you'll be walking around just doing your thing, and a scenario will come back in your head, or you'll see something, and you'll be like, that motherfucker was lying to me. Right? So you come back and
Hmm.
say, hey, hey, hey. Then you ask some follow-up questions. And I've definitely been there before. Now, there's definitely been times where I didn't listen and I paid the price and then some. But like, nah, I feel you on that. And I think some people would have been in your shoes and have been like, we done went all the way through the counseling, everybody's excited about us getting married. I can't back out now. Shit. Better for you to back out then than to get married. And then,
Yeah.
now you got to go through all those steps to try to get things fixed. I mean, I've seen people up to the day where it was just like they didn't pay for the catering, pay for the DJ and all that stuff, and then it's like, hey y'all, sorry, we ain't going through with it. And I feel like if your family really loves you, they'll understand.
Yeah, yeah,
If your
yeah.
family and friends really love you, they'll understand. For sure, for sure. So, all right, Tay, I got a would you or wouldn't you?
Okay.
Okay. Would you stay with a partner who is great at everything, but they're unable to give you an orgasm? Like sex is good.
That's what I was about to ask. Is the sex still good even though,
Well, I mean, it depends. Like if you're a person that has to have an orgasm in order for the sex to be classified as good, I mean, I guess it's really up to you on that. But
yeah.
sex is good. He's attentive. He's loving. Works hard. Does all the things, but he just can't get you there.
I'm looking at this two different ways. One, I can usually tell somebody how to get me there if they're willing to listen. So if that's the case,
He just not able.
I may be able to if he's willing to use my toys on me.
He's just not able. So you're gonna have to use your toys on yourself.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I could. I definitely could. For
Okay.
sure. For sure. Definitely. Because like I said, I don't mind jacking it off. It's all good. Especially if everything else is good. I'm able to give her multiples. We get along great. We're compatible. If the only thing is she can't actually get me there, man, please.
But see, that's the thing. He can't even give me one.
Nah, can't get you there.
That's see, that's an issue for me. And like, if you're saying he can't even use my toys to help me get there, that's he can't learn from me telling him. That is an issue actually right there because that talks about something else outside of sex. Is you if you can't listen to what other people when other people are trying to teach you stuff. So I don't know. I
People
don't know
just
if I can
don't
say
have it. Some people just don't. There's some things people just aren't good at doing. And finishing that job is something that he can't do. But he
in
can.
this hypothetical, I would not be able to because no, I've been in situations where the sex was good and I just didn't get there, but I was either able to teach the person how to get me there or they were able to use my toys to get me there.
Okay.
So in that situation, I can stay.
Okay. Okay. I'm staying, especially if they can check all my boxes because I don't know if you know this about me, Tay. I'm kind of picky. So if it's just that right there, man, we good to go. We good to go. Just sit there and talk dirty to me while I jack it off, like they do in the porn. That's how they do it. That's how they do it in the porno.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit. Hey, listen, that made me feel like the man. You know what I mean? Like I'm Mr. Marcus. Call me Mr. Marvin. I'm gonna give me a
Oh,
Nike,
Lord.
give me a Yankees hat, some put on my Timbos. Was chicks really feeling Mr. Marcus back in the day?
I wasn't.
So like
Only
my ex used to say he was handsome, but he couldn't fuck for shit.
exactly. And that was where I was at with it too, because I saw there was a
He
white
used to say
guy.
he fucks like a toddler.
There was a scene I saw him in with a white guy. The white guy was popular back in the day, and I think he had a toy named after him, but I can never remember his name.
Not
But
Ron
they
Jeremy. Ron Jeremy?
no 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 no. You know, he was about Mr. Marcus's age. Ron Jeremy was older than all of them.
Okay.
I can't remember this guy's name. I could probably look it up, but it's not important. Anyway, the two of them were in the scene with a woman. And Mr. Marcus didn't last long. And the white guy was I mean, the scene was really all about him and the girl because Mr. Marcus couldn't last. And I was like, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't. He should have been given more. And then when I saw the video with him and Superhead, I wasn't impressed because I'm like, he don't last long anyway. So does she really have skill or he just don't last long? I don't know.
I remember being at this is a side story about Superhead. I was at the Essence Festival and Hurricane Katrina had hit. So the Essence Festival was in Houston that year because New Orleans was messed up, right?
Hmm.
And I think she had a book out,
Yeah.
but
I read it.
for some reason she was on. Well, I know she had a book, but for whatever reason she was on the panel at Essence Festival. And this particular day was packed full of speakers, and like the keynote speaker was Louis Farrakhan. So you know I was there, right? So I'm sitting there because I got a good seat, and I'm ready for Farrakhan to come out. So she comes out, and people were like, "Who was that?" Because not every if you don't know saying you don't know who it is. They're like, "Who is this person?" And I was young and crude, and I was like, "Superhead, that's Superhead." And I remember this sister corrected me. She said, "Hey, her name is Kareen Steffens, my brother."
Right.
I was like, "Oh, okay." Listen, Superhead got to pay. Kareen Steffens didn't.
Exactly.
Thing about it, Kareen Steffens is beautiful to me. Now I know some guys that'll be like, "Man, she ain't all that." I'm like, "Shit, I done seen the chicks that you fucked. That woman is beautiful."
She is.
And she done definitely had an impact on dudes that got paper. But I wasn't really super impressed by her skills either, though.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I say I don't know if her skills really live up to it or because Mr. Marcus didn't last long with her. But again, I saw him in the other movie and
That's
he
true.
didn't do much there either. So
That's true. Who's your favorite performer?
of the men,
Mhm.
um, I guess I have to go with Lex. I guess.
Lex used to have the best scenes.
Yeah.
Lex had the best scenes.
Yeah.
He brought it out. Now, a lot of the dudes were good because they were funny.
Yeah.
Like Jake Steve was funny. He was funny with his shit. Um, Brian Pumper was trash.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that these guys are trash, not that I'm like, looking at their dicks and those shit, like, but you got to have good chemistry between the two people in order to make the scene, worth watching.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm gonna tell you who else who was funny, but he was annoying. Wesley Pipes.
I knew that's where you was going because he used to annoy the crap out of me. Ugh.
Oh my God, now Wesley Pipes, like, dude, shut up. Shut up. And finally, it was one scene with Cinnamon. And like
Hmm.
she actually like hit him. It's like, dude, just shut up and fuck me. Just shut up. Favorite female.
I had two, Jada and Jasmine.
Yeah, that's a killer combo. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
got to be Jasmine, and she a preacher now. You saw that?
I know. Yeah.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
Um, just so that we could be different, I'm gonna say Jasmine and Sky Black.
Okay.
Jasmine and Sky Black. That's
Yeah.
what I'm going with. Yeah. There's some other ones that were good. Who's most overrated? Woman.
For me,
Yeah.
Pinky didn't do anything for me, but that's me. I don't know.
I'm gonna say I feel I knew you was gonna go there. And you're not wrong. I would say Roxy.
Okay.
Roxy was bad, but she was kind of boring. She's kind of look, we didn't want to talk about God speaking to us to
Right.
say let's stop for tell me they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at cvadthepodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Make sure you tell a friend we're watching this time. Peace.
Bye.